Hi, my name is Jordan Canner. I'm the District Jazz Coordinator for PMEA District 4, and I'm here to give you a quick tutorial on putting together your District 4 Jazz Audition video. Hopefully some of this will take some of the stress out of the process or some of the unknowns that might be going into this, especially for those of you who've never done anything like this. So right from the get-go, I want to tell you to not introduce yourself like I just did. Don't introduce yourself. We don't want any type of identification as far as that goes. So don't say your name and don't put your name across the bottom or what school you're from. Okay. You can introduce the song you're about to play. And I'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. Take your time with the recording. Make sure you have a good setup. So that you can be seen and heard properly throughout the video. Also take a look at what you're wearing. You don't need to dress up in anything fancy, but you also shouldn't be wearing anything that identifies what school you're from or has any past festivals that you may have participated in, such as a county or a district or an all-state festival. Nothing identifying as far as that goes. Next, look at what's behind you. Watch out for things that might identify your school, like a mural that has your band uniform on it, or any wall plaques or anything of that nature, or a giant banner that might say Bellefonte Band in the background. As you record, try to finish every take. Now notice I said every take. That means this does not have to be a one-take type situation. At the beginning of every recording, I know I said don't introduce yourself, but you can introduce the name of the song that you're about ready to play. So if you're getting ready to play Sweet Georgia, you can say, this is Sweet Georgia. And then you can also, if you need to, say, take one, take two, or whatever, as a way to help you to identify which were your best recordings. But I really recommend to finish every take you start. A minor mess up or missed whatever at the beginning does not necessarily ruin the entire recording. And if you nitpick on every single tiny little mistake you make, you might never finish your audition video. So please make sure that you try to finish every take, unless there's a colossal disaster, of course. For everyone except for the drums. For your first part of your audition, you have an etude or something of that nature that you're going to play. For most of you, it's Sweet Georgia. For the bass, it's a little bit different. I know that there is a written tempo on the music, and you should strive to get to that tempo. However, I think it's more important for you to play at a comfortable speed in the correct style and with the correct dynamics and articulations and all that kind of stuff, rather than try to push it fast and make a ton of errors. For the second part of your audition, same people, you're going to be playing with a recording. Drum set, you will also be playing with a recording. As you're recording, or as you're putting that together, make sure that the background track you're playing with has a good balance to your own playing. You don't want one to be heard over the other. We need to make sure that there's a healthy balance so that we can make sure that everything is gelling together well. My suggestion for that is to record a short portion with the background track and then go back and listen to it just to make sure levels are good, and then go back and record your entire excerpt. Rhythm section, minus the drums. For your second portion, you're asked to comp or provide a walking bass line for a blues. I will hopefully try to show you an example of what that looks like. For the wind players, you're asked to play a ballad with appropriate stylistic choices. I will give you also an example of what that means. So I think some of the big things with recording your audition is you don't have to do one part and then immediately do the other part all as one big video. You can cut them apart. Technology today with the ability to splice videos, even with something rudimentary like iMovie or something like that. You can just splice the videos together or put a transition in between. It doesn't matter. They do not have to be all the way through, okay? The other nice thing is, again, it provides you the opportunity to do takes. You don't even have to do the takes on the same day. It doesn't matter if you're wearing different clothes in each of your videos, okay? So whatever works best for you, and go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead now and play Sweet Georgia for you at a reduced tempo. Okay, so you can get an idea of how I would set this up to record. Notice I'm in the corner of my room here. There's nothing identifying what building this is or what school I'm from. And I'm playing out into the room and not directly at the camera, because I think that with these phones and stuff, that's the best way to capture audio. Okay. Here is Sweet Georgia. So, as you can see right there, I messed up right at the end, biffed the last note. Sometimes that happens, but I think the rest of that went pretty well. I might submit that as a recording, okay? Again, if you nitpick on the small, tiny details, you might never get a recording finished. Whenever you're recording for one of the rhythm instruments, you always want to make sure that we can see both your body and the instrument that's being played. For guitar, it's nice and easy. Vibes, usually you can set it up out in front of you. Same with bass. For the piano, I recommend the side-on approach, as I'm set up here right now. And that's just so we can see you and your hands at the same time playing the notes. The second section of your recording, past Sweet Georgia, is to play a fast blues in B flat along with the background recording. And we're asking you to comp 2 choruses. Comping is playing the chords that belong to the music. Okay? If you are unsure of what the notes are for each chord, maybe you've never studied that stuff, that's okay. In that packet or in the audition information, when you get the fast blues in B flat, if you look down at the bottom section, it says solos, and then it has the chords and it has the scales that belong to each of those chords. And you'll notice certain notes are blackened in. Those are the notes that can be used for the chord. Okay? You don't have to use all of them. You can pick and choose. Usually in jazz, the piano player won't play the root note of each chord because that'll be covered by the bass. Maybe you're not as comfortable with that yet and you're still, kind of getting through it. But the idea for this is to keep a nice rhythm going with the background chords, getting the switches in the correct time, and just kind of feeling comfortable and playing some improvisatory chords. Not improvisation, you don't have to play a solo or anything, but just some chords to kind of keep things moving along. So I'm going to give you an example. I am not an accomplished piano player by any means. Okay? So what I'm going to do is mostly root position chords because that's what I'm comfortable with. This just gives you an idea of kind of what we're looking for with this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So with all of those things in mind, I hope that this video helped you to kind of set you on the right path as far as the recordings and how to put together a nice recording. If you have any questions, please reach out to your director, or you can email me directly. And my email information was sent out with the audition materials. Okay? So I hope all that stuff helped, and good luck with your auditions.